Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you a video that many of you have been asking for so long. I'm going to be giving you all the deets of how I improved my aim over time. Keep in mind, these are all the ways that I got better, and there's definitely other strategies in the community, but these ones definitely work the best for me. If you have other methods that worked really well for you, go ahead and drop them in the comments, because you never know, it might help other people out as well. Real quick before we hop into this video, I just want to say thank you to everybody using code JIVENTV. I say this all the time, but honestly, it helps me out so much. So thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. So first thing I want to talk about is Kovacs. And if you don't have Kovacs, like maybe you're on console, don't worry, because I'm going to be giving tons of different creative maps that I use to improve my aim as well. But first, I just want to talk real quick about Kovacs. So I've mentioned this in another video, but the biggest thing Kovacs did for me was help me improve my mouse control. What this means is it basically helps me get more comfortable moving the mouse around. Building fundamental mouse control is one of the hardest things for people who are switching to keyboard and mouse. Having good mouse control helps you hit those little micro movements that can make a big difference when trying to hit a flick shot. It also makes your movement of the mouse more controlled and more calculated. So I haven't really explored all the options in Kovacs, but the main two courses, maps, whatever you want to call it, that I actually work on are Tile Frenzy and Ascended Tracking V2. These are my two favorite maps. I also played around with this map called Reflex Flick. Easy. The medium and hard version of it is just impossible. I don't even understand how people could possibly play it. But yeah, those are the three main maps that I use. Obviously, Ascended Tracking is going to help you with AR tracking and just getting a steady hand while trying to shoot your AR. Because I'm sure a lot of you that are new to keyboard and mouse, when you try to track somebody with your AR, your hand is a little shaky and it's hard to steadily move it in a line to track opponents. That map definitely helps me with that. I'm also going to give you guys a creative map that'll help with that too. And then Tile Frenzy just helped me kind of gain an understanding of the dimensions of how far I have to move my mouse to hit the targets. Because if you didn't know, you can align your Fortnite sensitivity with Kovacs, which is why it makes it so helpful. And then the Reflex Flick course is just targets appear and then they disappear really fast, so you have to flick to them. But yeah, those are the main courses I used in Kovacs. Let's hop into the Fortnite maps that I use. So the biggest one that I'm sure a lot of you already know is called Skaavok. It's Kovacs backwards. And this map is basically just Kovacs, but in Fortnite. You can practice different types of tracking, which is the main thing I use in this map. It also has a Tile Frenzy of its own, where you just flick different targets, yada yada yada. But the main thing I use is those tracking courses. I do the horizontal, vertical, and the hardest one is called Dynamic. In the Dynamic course, this just shoots a target all over the place, and he's bouncing around like crazy, so you really need to have good mouse control to hit your shots. Horizontal is just good practice for getting a steady hand while tracking somebody moving horizontally. And then the vertical is the same thing but vertical. But yeah, you can practice different techniques such as single tapping the targets as you're doing these courses. That just basically means you tap the trigger instead of holding it down. And this is good for when you're going for storm surge tags and trying to tag people from a far distance away. But you can also practice just holding down the trigger and hitting as many shots as possible and keeping your crosshairs steadily on the opponent. This map also has a really good edit course where you edit course and then there's a target at the end, and this is the Mongrel Classic part of the map. It also has free builds, side jumps, lots of other stuff, but those ones that I talked about are the main things that I use in this map. So next up, we have the biggest thing that helps with my aim. It's probably the only aim trainer that I run for the most part nowadays. I used to run these other ones, but nowadays I mainly use this one. It's called Aim Duels, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. Aim Duels is just ridiculous. It's perfect practice for up close aim. You can also practice peak shot aim, SMG, shotgun, whatever you want. And there's tons of different courses. It has all the guns. It's just the perfect practice map for 1v1 aim. Anytime somebody jumps in my box and tries to 50-50 me nowadays, I'm not even nervous because I can hit my shots up close just from practicing in this map every now and then. Things that I try to do in this map is I try to kind of bob and weave. I change my direction all the time, which is really good practice because if somebody jumps in your box and you're just walking in a straight line or standing still, they're going to be able to hit you for so much damage and you'll probably lose the 50-50. But as you can see, I'm constantly switching directions and focusing on making myself hard to track. This is really good against controller players, really anybody. Because obviously it's going to be a lot harder to keep tracking somebody that's bobbing and weaving and crouching and standing up and jumping. So definitely practice that stuff in this map, and then eventually when people start 50-50ing you, You'll just naturally start doing this stuff and you'll win a lot more 50-50s. You just need to make it a point to practice it, and eventually it'll just become rhythm, and you'll do it anytime you're in a 50-50. So anyways, aim duels, yeah, that's like one of my favorite maps. Let's talk about some other ways that I improved my aim. There's like 2 or 3 more. One of the biggest things that helped me with my aim was just 1v1ing a lot of people in creative. Emphasis on creative. Because yeah, you can take a lot of fights in arena, but the rate that you're going to be fighting is a lot slower. You know, say you take 10 to 20 fights in arena, that's going to be 10 to 20 fights in like 20 to 30 minutes. Versus in creative, you can just non-stop fight for the entire time. So just doing a lot of 1v1s, especially against players that are better than you, is going to help your aim a lot. You can go into scrim servers, just find really good players to fight there, or you can just 1v1 friends, you know, whatever you're feeling. But it's definitely good to 1v1 a variety of players so that you can learn a variety of play styles. Another thing that I did to improve my aim and my peak shots specifically was running through Raider's maps, such as his Peace Control edit course, his Peace Control map, his box fight map. That was the main one that helped me out. But all of these maps are really good because 1, you practice editing, building, peace controlling, and you also practice setting up peak shots, which is really important. When I'm running through these courses, I try to duck behind my peaks. For example, as soon as I set up a right-hand peak, I duck to the side. I try to imagine that they're trying to pre-fire me, so by ducking to the side, I dodge their shot, and then I take a good right-hand peek. It's in creative where you want to build all of your good habits such as this. Creative is basically the key to learning mechanics such as aim, building, editing, peace control, all that stuff. So if you're not taking advantage of this, you're gonna be missing out. I feel sorry for you, man. That feels bad. So let's do a little recap. Kovacs is really good for building mouse control, or you can go to the creative map called Skaavok, whatever it's called, to do the same exact thing where you can master tracking, flick shots, and more. And then the biggest map that helped me with my up-close tracking was aim duels, because that's 1v1s against another real player, and you're going to be doing a lot of bobbing and weaving, and trying to track a player that's doing the same thing. And then another big thing that helped me out was just 1v1ing a bunch of different players. Learning a bunch of playstyles and also trying to hit shots against a full moving player, that's good practice. And you're going to be able to get a lot more fighting practice if you're practicing in creative rather than arena, because you can fight at a much faster rate. You don't have to go searching for players like you would in arena. And then lastly, all of Raider's edit courses with targets are really good practice for setting up peaks, peace controlling, and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's all of the stuff that I practice to improve my aim. If there's one thing that I'd say go crazy practicing, it is aim, because without good aim, you're going to be just a walking mess. You may be able to peace control somebody like crazy, but then if you can't hit your shots, it's all for no reason. One of the biggest things that separates top tier pros from average players is their ability to hit all shots and not really mess up edits and stuff. So if you're trying to get up there with the pros, the biggest thing is you need to focus on consistency. Consistency in your aim, consistency in your edits, peace control, all that. Hopefully this video helps you out. If it did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and use code JIVINTV in the item shop. Thanks guys, have a nice day. Peace.